So greetings to our YouTube fam as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's topic, which is adapt or die. I'm going to be sharing stories from my life, just as a human being, whether it's business, work related, family related, areas where I failed to adapt and be adaptable, and how that's cost me greatly in the process of living my life and wanting to accomplish my dreams. Hey, Arlene, good to see you. So for those of you just tuning in on YouTube, we'll be getting the show started here in just a couple of minutes. I'm getting some administrative stuff taken care of. Jonas98 says, "What's up? What's up, Jonas? Good to see you, my friend." But yes, we will be kicking off the show here. If you, especially YouTubers, if you're watching this after the fact, just like we told the folks on Twitch, we'll be getting started here in a minute. So if you want to skip ahead, please don't feel obligated to sit here and listen to me warming up the crowd and getting things set up. Arlene says, "Here at the gym listening to you." Awesome. Let's go to the live now so I can get the YouTube chat. As what the hell is going on YouTube? What was that? Doesn't make any sense. All right, there we go. So I'm going to move my camera as well so that you guys aren't looking at my profile the whole time we're talking. Let's make sure we're good on Twitch. Let's check out our Twitch family. Hey, Little Raz, what's up? Good to see you. I'm here and I brought a friend. Excellent. Hello, friend. Very nice to see you. I'll be on screen with you all here very shortly. YouTube family, hang in there. Almost got all of our administrivia out of the way. I just need to split my screen so I can see both chat rooms. Cannot stress enough for those of you watching this on YouTube that it's a really, really good idea for you to join me on Twitch, because that's where these live streams will take place in the future. I just posted a link in the YouTube chat. Definitely click on that link and follow us over on Twitch, because all these live streams are going to move over there. So I'll be sharing, like I said, stories about my life, and really just hearing stories from all of you and giving you a chance to answer or to ask and have me answer questions, or have people on the group answer questions as well. I got out of my treatment and stuff early today, so I figured I'd come here and hang out with you guys, which actually is a part of my treatment, is doing things that I enjoy and communing with other people and just communicating about the things that are going on in my life. So that's what we do here. But yeah, cannot encourage all of you enough to follow us on Twitch. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, simply because Twitch is where this is going to be happening in the future. YouTube, we've kind of been slowly making our exit from. Not completely. Not going to completely leave YouTube. In fact, the team and I decided, or I decided and informed the team for the most part, that what we'll do on YouTube is more like what we've done in the past with like the 69 Pillars of Success course, the Miyamoto Musashi Way of Walking Alone course, doing more in-depth kind of serialized show content on YouTube versus like one-off ideas that I have. Hey, Barbara, nice to see you. On both platforms. I see Barbara on both. And thank you for the follow, Barbara. It's good to have you here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Barbara just on YouTube. I'm looking at YouTube on two screens and I mistook it for Twitch. But either way, it's good to see you, Barbara. Yeah, so that's the type of stuff that in my podcast, once we start doing that again, will be on YouTube as well, for people that just, for whatever reason, prefer to watch it versus listen to it, which is cool. But yeah, we've slowly been divesting from a lot of the things we've done on YouTube in the past and just getting away from it so that people don't come to my channel and then say, "Oh, wait, he's not doing this anymore. He doesn't do any of this." I'd hate for someone to see a video I did 2 years ago, which is content I don't make anymore, and then they subscribe to, let me turn this down a little bit, and then they subscribe, not realizing like, "Oh crap, he isn't doing this anymore." So that's why I'm encouraging everybody on YouTube, because really all you're going to find here in the future is, serialized content and mini courses and stuff, which is all great content. But the interaction, the live interaction will happen on Twitch. And that ties into today's discussion as well, because we're talking about adaptability and just, I had to not be I had to very much not be, um, what's the word I'm looking for, married to trying to make things work the way I want them to work. I have to be adaptable to, what is what is the context of the platform? What are the requirements of the platform? How does the platform expect me to behave? And most importantly, how does the audience react to what I'm doing, right, in those spaces? And if I just wanted to keep trying to force my way of doing things, like this live stream, for example, is my preferred method of communication in terms of video. I don't really like shooting videos and then editing them because I think something gets lost in that. And I'm only editing it because I'm trying to respect people's attention spans and ability to dedicate time to consume the content. But on Twitch, that's not a problem. People, the average person spends an hour and a half on Twitch a day, or on the days where they're there, they spend an average of an hour and a half. So that because a lot of times on Twitch, it's a passive activity versus YouTube. And YouTube's engineers, I talk about that all the time. A couple of years ago, even told me like, yeah, we prefer if, and I'm paraphrasing what they were saying in between the lines of what they were allowed to say, right? So I'm not quoting anybody, but it was just very much, yeah, we'd prefer if you take that very long video and chop it into like 20 different small videos that people can consume on the go and on mobile. And I'm like, that's cool. That's not what I do. So I'll take this to a place. I'll take it to a podcast, and I'll take it to a podcast, and I'll take it to Twitch, two places where people don't have an issue with the time piece, right? And so yeah, that's kind of, and it's not that people won't consume long form content. You look at Joe Rogan, he does 3-hour podcasts, and millions of people watch it. So there's millions of people out there. It's just that millions of people doesn't know me yet. So I've got to go build my brand to the point where millions of people would come and spend an hour to 3 hours with me. I haven't paid that. I haven't paid the dues that Joe Rogan has paid. I haven't added the value that he's added to other people's lives yet. So I don't get that benefit yet because I haven't put in the amount of work that Joe has in this space, right? One day we'll get there, and then maybe that day we'll come back to doing stuff like this on YouTube because I'll have everybody's attention because I will have proved all these things that come out of my mouth that I try to encourage you all with. Slow Mo Mo says, do you post shirtless on IG? I don't. Thanks for asking, though. Arlene says, I've never heard of Twitch before you mentioned it. Is that where the young people hang out? No, the young people hang out on Snapchat and Instagram. Twitch is young people, but it's a very specific brand of young people. Twitch, I think, averages 18 to 34. The biggest bulk of their audience is 18 to 34, so not terribly young. Not like my kids' ages, and not terribly old, right? So, but like people my age aren't the normal there. So I realize I'm kind of in uncharted water, but I've also been a part of this social media thing since before it was called social media and since before it was called the internet. I know how it works. Eventually the old people figure out about it and then they come over there too. By the time the old people show up on Twitch, we'll be established. Right, same thing with Facebook. Facebook used to be all the young people, and then the old people found out about it, and then they ran to Twitter, and then Twitter got old, and so then they ran to Instagram, and then Snapchat, and then Yik Yak is the new thing where the young people are. Christy McConnell says, I love being called not terribly old. It's awesome. But it ties into the topic today with, I want you all to understand that adaptability is really at the core of your success. So in our coaching programs, right, whether you've been through like our 69 Pillars of Success free coaching program. Arlene, by the way, friends, is a very old woman in a very young woman's body. She's a very old spirit. She's like, yick, what? Like, yep. And I say that in jest, but also from a good place, because I'm exactly the same. I am, like, people always, I get questioned a lot, like, dude, hey, Tony J, you're not late at all, man. Third May says, yo, I'm 63. Dude, you are my new favorite person on the internet. Third Maze. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Third Maze. Dude, if you're not joking, you just became my new favorite person on all of social media. I got a 60, like, you can't understand what it means to me. And I know I'm about to bare my heart here, and then if you say you're just joking, I'm gonna look like an idiot, but that's okay. Because it would not be the first time I've looked like an idiot. Uh, hey, A Finley with the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. I promise to add value comparable to your willingness to come and follow me. Promise to do that. Um, so, like, Third Maze is my target audience. I've always wanted to work with the older crowd for, I can list probably 1,000 different reasons, especially in the work that I do, right? It's not that I don't love younger people, but older people are just more experienced. And I find that older people, and by the way, I don't even think 63 is old, right? Like, it's just not to me. Like, my parents, my dad was in his 80s, mom's is still in her 80s, right? So old to me is, hey, Cindy Tesmer, what's up? Good to see you. Hippie Mo's here. What's up, B? Hello again. He says 100% true. And so we need to talk because I need to understand what I did that caught your attention because I want to find more of you. And the reason why I say it is because a lot of what I have to say, and this is totally tied to the topic of adaptability, but I'm going to go in a different direction. A lot of the reason why it takes so long for what I do on YouTube to catch on is because the bulk of the audience that's looking at me is 18 to 30 something, like young 30s, right? So young 30s by no means a kid, I'm not terribly older than that. But it's usually what I find in people in those age groups, if they haven't had some life event or some type of trauma or some type of serious, I need to get my life together because fill in the blank, they're just kind of free spirited and floating. Like I got a friend that's single, and in his later 30s was dating a younger 20 something. It was very frustrated with. I'm like, dude, she's 25. The planet you're on hasn't been discovered to her. Like responsibility, and I'm not saying 25-year-olds are irresponsible. Some of them are, but what I'm saying is the older crowd is just more experienced and usually more serious about, I need to start reading these books. I need to start being in training and getting coaching because I still want to, those 35 and up crowd is kind of who I target. And then I always get the 18 to 34 crowd. It's like the 25 to 34 crowd is my basically core audience, but I still get a lot of the 18 to 24s too. But with the older crowd is usually almost always more teachable. Not always, but almost always. Because they've lived it. It's like, yeah, I know what this dude's talking about. I'm on this call because I know what he's saying because I've lived more than he has what he's talking about. So I'm you don't know how much that makes my day, Third Maze. You'll never know how much I appreciate having someone in the upper echelon of life following me, and that's a tremendous amount of respect because I would be inclined to look up to people in your position, right? Because there's so much I can learn from people who've been here. Like one of my life coach my business coach is in his 70s, early 70s, and my life coach I believe is either in his late 50s, early 60s, right? And these are people who like my life coach professionally isn't doing a lot of the things that I do, but he knows life and he knows my weaknesses and my issues and mental health and he knows all that. Like he was even able to walk me through some of the darkness of my experiences as a soldier, and the dude's not even a soldier, right? So I've got all this experience, but I'm going to be straight up, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon. Like I'm just going to shut up and listen. Because I got so much to learn from a dude who's lived this much more life than me. And then my business mentor, same thing. Like he knows he's forgotten more stuff about business than I've learned in the, 20 years, 15 years I've been going after this thing, right? So that's the challenge that I run into is I love reaching the older folks. Because I'll give you an example. My 70-something business mentor, when we go on trips together, the mark of a wise person is he asks more. He does not let me ask questions. He asks all the questions. Like, yo, teach me about this YouTube marketing thing. Like, all right. Where do I start? He's like, well, walk me through this. You've done a lot of coaching on copyrights. Why is that an issue? And I explained it to him. He said, well, that doesn't make any sense. I said, tell me about it. Google's crazy. It's like, he's like, why don't they just, I said, boss, I don't have those. And I don't know why they don't pay ASCAP and BMI. Maybe they do, and there's still issues. I said, in the music industry is shady and losing money, and they're looking to come after people because video games are murdering everything. But it's, I had to be adaptable because what I wanted to reach was people 35 and older. Why? Because my core audience that I seek after are really like military members who are going to be leaving the military soon, either retiring or just leaving, and helping them build businesses and build, freelance careers, because I know what it's like to come out of the military and feel like you just walked onto planet Jupiter working with these civilians and working with very entitled people. Not always. There's amazing people that I've worked with, but they were less common than what I remember from my military days. And then the missions aren't always clear. And like, why are we doing this report? Because some bigwig wants it and we got to maintain a political relationship with them? Sure. A lot more complicated than, hey, that guy over there is trying to shoot us and kill us. Let's get him. Right? So I had to be adaptable and learn how to live life on another planet where they don't breathe oxygen and they don't act like the people that I come from. Right? And so that was the target audience. But what I found was I actually attracted a ton of 18 to 34-year-old women, because even my messaging was a lot more focused on men. But what I learned in the process, because I coach a lot of people who are in their 50s and 60s, and what I learned is, one, they're not hanging out on YouTube because they got stuff to do all the time, right? They're not always on Twitch or social media, but they do come. And when they come, they're looking for something that's of value and quality. With the younger audience, what I found a lot of times, again, not always, because most of you here, what I'm saying doesn't apply to you, right? Because you're here. You won. You won the game. You slayed the dragon. But it came down to, oh man, all this effort I'm putting into this audience. And what I found was that audience, not just the military folks, but that younger crowd is looking more for the entertainment side of things. The context of YouTube for them is, this is where I come just to get a laugh and get back on with my day. I'm not necessarily looking for this 6-hour Tony Robbins coaching video, which I highly recommend everybody watch that twice. I think I'm on my third listen of his 6-hour it's basically one of his seminars baked into 6 hours of a YouTube video, and it's worth every minute. But I do that type of stuff regularly, but it doesn't, like, if you look at how big my audience is, I mean, you're talking about someone across all the platforms and my mailing list and everywhere I reach. You're talking about a person that's could regularly be in contact with over 100,000 people. And there's the thunderstorm we were waiting on. I was wondering when that was going to kick in. But only about, out of those 100,000 people, well, Facebook's a different issue because I regularly have really good engagement on Facebook, again, because the audience is older. And I can get things in front of them without all the titling and tagging and all the trying to pander to what are people searching for today that I can make a video about and show up in search. A lot of the SEO stuff, which then makes you have to spend more time doing that than actually creating the content, which is it's another thing that I don't really enjoy doing. So, but just having to be adaptable to the younger crowd wants something different a lot of times. And so that's why you look at this, how does this dude have 27,000 or whatever subscribers and only about 500 people watch his videos, right? Well, because 26,000 of that 27,000 subscribed for something very specific that I walked away from doing, knowing how YouTube works, knowing that it was going to alienate me with this audience. Not even alienate me, it was just going to make me out of sight, out of mind, because I was no longer feeding the thing that they wanted. And so I had to regroup, and with my team, we met last year, and I was like, listen, I'm not going to get into the soft shoeing, shucking and jiving minstrel show business. Like, I'm not going to turn what I do into show business just to get some, because frankly, if you're there for entertainment and then I bait and switch you with, hey, here we are, it's the tap dance show. And I'm like, well, now listen, I want to tell you about life. Nobody wants that. So us being adaptable. Like, I'm not gonna get angry or bitter. Like, YouTube, it doesn't owe me jack. The YouTube audience doesn't owe me jack. I'm just glad. I hope some point somebody got something good out of what I was saying, right? But I had to be adaptable and say, okay, the way I want to do it is going to be like punching a brick wall. So instead of doing that, take what you want to do and put it in the place where people actually want it. Now, here's the beautiful part. I have already staged like covert operations. I've already staged tons of content on YouTube that, given time, will get millions of views. But it's going to take time because people have to come down from their freaking dopamine highs from watching Game of Thrones and porn and all the other things that make them to then say, maybe I should do something with my life. Let me check out this guy's video. Oh, this video is an hour. I've literally had people write that to me in the comments, and it's like I fight a war inside my soul. There's the empathetic me, and then there's the Darwinistic survival of the fittest part of me, where it's like when someone comes to me and says, oh, dude, this video is an hour. Can you like shorten it, dude? Empathetic me is like, maybe this guy has 9 kids. He's a single dad. He really wants to watch this. And he just can't because he just doesn't have the time. That's empathetic me. Survival of the fittest, Darwin, Spartan 300 me is like, then just don't watch it. Like, go keep watching Game of Thrones or whatever your little favorite thing is that isn't adding any real value to your life outside of a little bit of joy and dopamine, which is always good in moderation. I don't know what to tell you, dog. Like, if you can't make an hour of time in your life to tighten your shit up, I got nothing for you. No trick. I can't tell you the amount of people like, tell me the tricks to how you got this video to go to 2 million views. Okay, you ready? You want to know the trick about why that video has now almost 3 million views? Here, it's a really simple trick. Are you ready for it? And I know I'm being patronizing, but that's how I feel sometimes. It's like, okay, here's what it is. There's like 100 million people that need the answer to this question. And I'm like one of the best people at answering it because I know my shit and a lot of other people don't. So I made a video showing people how to deal with it. And out of like 100 million people, about 3 million actually watched it. When you have something that's that valuable to people, you're going to get the viewership. Period. Right? So there's impatient me. But then there's like, I'm 2 guys. I'm the empathetic. I get it. This dude probably has 40 kids. He's a single dad. His wife left him and, started, she joined a private army in Bosnia, like whatever. And I get it. I want to help that guy, but I don't have the time to take this video and chop it up into 90 different videos. Although it's not true because that's exactly what we did. That's what we gave people on Instagram. It's like, okay, if you need to learn this in a minute or less, I give it to Tony, who's right here. I give it to Tony. He chops it up and makes it. And Tony is a freaking beast. Him and Steven. Like, his ability with no guidance from me. No, other than don't make me look like an idiot unless it's hilarious, right? Unless it makes me laugh. Don't make me look dumb. And where he chops the videos are money. It's like you could tell he puts a lot of thought into where he makes the cuts because he gets the point across. So, I'm not going to do that on YouTube because it's not... The payoff for you is not worth the effort we have to put in, and the payoff for us is certainly not worth it. But you have to be adaptable and know, like, I'm not going to be so married to this YouTube thing. I just have to keep going when, dude, come on, writing's on the wall. You're getting 500 views a pop, maybe if you're lucky, when you have 40,000 people following you here. One of these things is not congruent. So it's, all right, you don't want to change your vision or the way you make content, but you need to adapt to a platform that supports what you're trying to do, right? So you have to do the same things in life. And going back to the conversation with Third Maze, he says, I'm just breaking into my stride at 63, more serious, more attentive, more engaged. And that's what I experience with the older crowd. They're more open to, like, I have members of my family who I've been telling since they were in their 40s, right? You need to start a small business. Because even if it doesn't really do anything amazing, it can become a tax shelter for you because you can run expenses that you're already going to buy through your business legally, and then that comes off your total tax. Like, with teaching them this thing. And they're now, some of these people are now in their 50s And they're still like, yeah, I should have listened to you. I'm like, yeah, yes, you should have. When I gave you this advice when I was 23, like, yes, you should. Um, but as they get older, then they get more like, yeah, I need to get on this. I need to start getting these things squared away. And that's why I've always preferred, not, and I'm not necessarily talking about age, because guys, I've worked with 16-year-olds who are freaking assassins. It's not an age thing. It's a mindset thing. The older mindset, like when Arlene comes on here and says, "What the hell is yik yak?" That is my target audience. Right? It's people who are so busy trying to make a way for themselves so that they can take their suffering and turn it into, compassion and help for other people to help them not have to go through that suffering, or at least get through their suffering. I'm too busy to be on Yik Yak worrying about what Kim Kardashian posted of herself. Like, I don't care who's nude on Instagram because I have stuff I gotta take care of. I can't watch 900 hours of porn. And one of my favorite jokes about porn was Louis C.K. said, he's like, I think we can just stop making it. I think there's enough. He's like, because he basically said, first of all, the work is really hard for the people in it, especially the women. Like, that can't be great for their physical health. He says, and if you took a kid and made him start watching porn at 6, by the time he's 50, he wouldn't be out of the A's if you alphabetized it. There's just, no one's ever going to finish it. And it's like, we got stuff to do. I can't watch Game of Thrones, man. I just don't have the time. And I don't like Game of Thrones. That it helps that a lot of the entertainment that the world likes, it's not interesting to me. But although I did see Avengers, that was dope. Just the idea here is, if it doesn't matter how strong and smart you are, and that's what I run into with a lot of people that I coach too, is they're brilliant people, but they're not flexible sometimes. And so you can be brilliant and still not get your point across. Like, if I were not flexible with the whole, I used YouTube as an example. If I didn't figure out, okay, the way I'm doing it is not, if my goal is to reach billions of people, which is our mission, right? Is to reach billions of people with information and knowledge and wisdom that can change their lives, right? Well, the way I'm doing it isn't going to work on YouTube. So we'll still have stuff that we put there that we stage, because eventually this crowd is going to get older, and then they're going to want the 69 pillars of success that I gave away completely. I was going to sell it at first, and then I gave it away completely for free to prove my point that I've told people I coach for years who are in sales, be careful how much you give away for free, because what you give away for free, most people devalue and think that it's cheap. Not everybody. Some people go through it like, thank God, thank you so much for doing this for free. I couldn't afford it. I'm, hard on, times are hard. There are those people, but most people see free and they're like, I'll get around to it. And even some of the people that pay me to coach them, I never call them out or name them because some of them listen to this still. And I'm like, you haven't watched. I got asked a question like a year into when I was doing the YouTube coaching. And this person asked me a question that was like the second video in the lessons that I gave them. I was like, dude, did you watch video number 2? He's like, oh, no, I hadn't got around to watching the videos yet. I said, you've been here for a year. And I get it. I don't know what's going on in his life. The empathetic me is like, yeah, dude, totally get it. Life. The survival of the fittest me is, if you don't get your ass up off this couch and go watch some videos and stop sending me questions, I'm going to put my foot, like, you know what I mean? But you got to be, and look at the situations that, like, take it off of me for a second. You got to look at the situations you're in and ask yourself, is the way you are carrying yourself or the things that you're trying to do, is it getting you to the outcomes that you want? Because if you're not getting the outcomes you want, I guarantee you I can tie it back to somewhere on the journey you were not flexible enough to adapt to something that was changing, right? Like business owners I work with that are, oh, what about this Facebook thing? Heard a lot about it. Yeah. Might want to get on it. Guy that sells things that the Facebook audience would eat up. Yeah, I don't know. Right? It's like, okay, so one of your competitors, and I told a business this recently. I said, your competitors are going to do this, and I get that your budget is tight. but your competitors are going to do this. About that, I got a telemarketer call in the middle of a stream. Thankfully, YouTube has updated and now it does not kill the stream because of a phone call. I told him, I said, yeah, I get that your budget's tight, but your competitors are going to do this. So we need to figure out a plan to make it equitable for you to get it done. And, you know, it's just that adaptable business. And like, I've even told businesses who've wanted to hire me that I wouldn't let them. And like, why? We're making all this money. I say, yeah, but you don't have a marketing problem. You have an operations problem. Because you're making a ton of money, but you're not making really any profit in your business. So if you want to bring me in as an operations consultant, sure, that's what I used to do. I used to run a billionaire's business. I can do that, and I can show you where you have operational deficiencies. But the problem with bringing in a consultant to show you your operational deficiencies is there's kind of a conflict of interest. Because the type of consultant I am, I'm going to let people know from the jump. I'm going to show you absolutely what's wrong. And you have two options. You can either take my advice or not. But I'm telling you, if you don't do these things, I've seen it happen, business is going to start sucking. And what I find with a lot of businesses and just leaders is they're so married to their idea and their whatever, like, oh, I don't want to change, or this change is going to make our employees not feel good. Yeah, it's going to hurt for a month, but it's going to keep them employed. So which one is it going to be, right? And I've watched other consultants come in and then they'll just give them like, well, we could do this option over here, which is a total BS option just so that they could get their retainer and pay their people. But it's not going to help the business. You see that a lot in the government, where it's just like consultants bullshitting. It's like, we could totally start, like, they don't, like, be a consultant, tell them they don't need that. They don't. It's a waste of resources. But everyone's got to make their money. No? All right, let's take some comments and then I'll get back into the conversation. Maybe I'll tell you some more stories about my lack of adaptability. Let's see. Third Maze says, wow, you just became my number one. Man, you all right with me, Third Maze. Thank you, Raz. See, Raz always says stuff, and I'm telling you, this woman is going to murder my macho bravado persona that I try to project, my manly madness, because she's going to make me tear up on a freaking call. Stop it, Raz. Stop trying to make me, I was trying to hide tears during the Avengers movie. Like, I'm sitting next to this other dude like, yeah, this is a good movie. It's legit, man. Yeah, why am I beating my chest? What does this even mean? Other than, like, CPR. Like, stop it. Raz says, I thought we established that the dragon can't be killed, only tamed. Yeah? Tell me about it. Tony says, can you share the link to that Tony Robbins video? Yeah, I'll hit you offline, dude. I don't remember the name of it. It's matter of fact, if you go on our channel, it should be one of the saved videos. You'll know it because it's 6 hours long. He talks about everything from sales to mental health to, it's a freaking awesome ride. Third May says, the coach got to be coachable. Hell yeah. Cindy Tesmer says, little Raz isn't all that she thinks, all that she likes to think that. She is awesome. That's why she's a VIP over here on Twitch. Let's see. Ivo Sequeria says, hey, Brian, I really enjoy your videos. Sweet. INFP here. Word, welcome. Matthew Mester says, agreed, I'm 29, and while I come to YouTube for many different things, my friends are only in it for, and that's okay. By the way, I'm not criticizing anybody. If you're 24 years old and you're having a ball watching comedy videos and memes and your life is happy, I'll give you the black fists, a very not tan black fist. Like, word. Like, I wish I could be you sometimes. Believe me, sometimes I wish I wasn't so driven. Life would be a lot more enjoyable at times. Christy McConnell says, if they can't make it a priority, then they need to make bigger changes in their lives before they're ready to deal with their shit. But I'm also empathetic, empathetic me, the two dragons, right? Empathetic me also says, well, if this person doesn't want to watch the video for an hour, for me to teach him or her, it was a him. It's always a him that doesn't have time, almost always. Because at least I think the women are smart enough just not to say anything. Dudes always out themselves. But the issue, like, I'm going to teach you a bunch of things in this video that other people are going to sell you in a, $1,000 course. I'm just going to show it to you. Like, I have a video on Facebook right now, or I have a video on YouTube right now and it's actually made a lot of business owners reach out to me, that teaches business owners how to do their Facebook ad campaigns. Now, you can go pay Udemy or whomever else to show you a lesser version of that, or pay to go through somebody's Facebook course for $1,000. I'll just show it to you. Because at some point, somebody's going to make it free. Might as well be me. I might as well take the L up front and build the rapport with people later on. And that's kind of at the core of what I wanted to talk about today. We'll get into that in a second. But so I'm empathetic to, if that person doesn't want to come on the call, they may just be in a place where they're cool. Like, if your life is amazing to you and you don't feel like you need to sit through an hour's worth of coaching, then I have no issues. I stay on the empathetic side of, if you're happy, man, you have found Shangri-La. I hope to get there one day. Raz says, I love that you rage on men. There may still be hope of me finding a good... There's plenty of good ones out there. They're just rare. And I do rage on men a lot just because I've seen so many do... that's why I made the Are You a Man Bitch video. Because I see so much bitchiness in men that it's like, if you don't, you're a man. Like all this stuff they keep telling you about toxic masculinity. Let me tell you what toxic masculinity really is. It's not the dude lifting weights on Instagram. It's this bitch ass man that can't take responsibility for his own stuff and he's blaming the world for all his problems. That's toxic masculinity, is you're behaving like a bitch. Right? I just think we use the word bitch wrong. I just think it's a person who has no personal courage, very little integrity, and doesn't take responsibility for their side of the tracks. And I'm not saying that everything happens to us in life is our fault. That's not what I mean by that. Most of what happens to anybody is not their fault. But it's like, I can own my part in it and take responsibility for that. Be like, yo, I could have done this better. And because men are more vocal in my line of work, I'm sure I would rage just as much if women talked more. But the women usually just be quiet and watch. I ain't saying nothing. That dude is crazy. Right? But by and large, I don't know. There is hope, Raz. There are decent guys out there. They just need to do some push-ups and man it up a little bit. All right. Let's see what we got here. Christy says, definitely always be kind. Life is hard enough, but they need to be real with themselves about the steps they got to take. Can't walk their path for them. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Rakisha Razor says, I'm going to look for that Tony Robbins video too. I like to listen in the background at work. Let's see, BTR says, would that apply to other social places such as Twitter? That video mentioned. No. This was specifically a how to run a Facebook ad campaign, if we're talking about the same video. I haven't done really any videos on Twitter. I only use Twitter as an intelligence gathering platform. So I'm on Twitter asking questions and listening way more than I'm talking. Because Twitter requires social clout. Basically, the two things that I've seen work on Twitter. You have a ton of social clout already, and people are inclined to follow you because they can keep up with your day-to-day musings, because you're either famous or you did something that got a lot of attention, or you're insanely entertaining. I'm entertaining to a very small crowd of people. Kira says, oh, there you are. I was waiting earlier, just check back. Hello, Brian and everyone. Hello. Christy says, as an ENTJ woman, I know exactly what you mean. If I'm in, then I'm in. I can't stand wishy-washy people. Words should mean something. Phantom Rose says, it's biatch. Let's see, BTR says, sums up DSPs. Who is DSP? I feel like that acronym is something I should know. DSP. Why I am toxic. video. Cat of Darkness says, hello everyone. How is everyone? Yeah, I know DSP. I've heard that term before, but I don't remember what it stands for. Little Raz says, the man bitch video is my favorite stream yet. It bashes on that bad mindset that many, and by the way, the video, and you're 100% right, because it's a mindset video, and the video applies to everybody regardless of gender. I just see more offenses of that. I know that's true. I see a lot of women doing it too. But I was talking about a specific man, a very specific human being was the impetus and the motivation for that video. So, and he was a dude. But I've certainly seen women do it too. Thanaro says, is it possible to make some money running a Facebook meme page? I have a meme page that has been getting likes and views, but I don't know what to do next. So figure out, yes, the answer is yes. You need to figure out who are the people that are following you. And I mean specifically like age, sex, race, religious beliefs, cultural beliefs, political beliefs. You need to understand what makes them tick. What are their driving forces? What are their values? What are their motivations? The more you can understand about that audience, you can then create something that would give them value that you can sell to them. Like, matter of fact, I can actually give you an example while we're here on the stream. Let's do that. Let me pull up something real quick. I will show you an example of me selling something. I hadn't intended to do this, but we'll do it. All right, so because I give what I believe to be tremendous value on YouTube and on Twitch for free, I know who my audience is. Like I told you, I know my audience is primarily 18 to 24-year-olds, but I also have a large portion of that audience are 25 to 34-year-olds, right? And I know that all of those people, to some degree, are either looking for their purpose in life, or they think they found their purpose in life and they need some encouragement to flesh it out, or they know their purpose and now they need help actually taking the necessary steps to go out and make it happen, right? So knowing that about my audience and knowing that that is one of my greatest strengths as a person that helps people with personal and professional and business development, leadership is what I sum that up as a person who is raised, trained, and practiced at raising leaders, I knew that I could create something that would help everybody, no matter where you are in that process, whether you're completely clueless and have no idea what you want to do with your life, right? Which, by the way, that's cyclical, guys. It's not just you figure out your life and then you go do it for 50 years. It's you figure out what's going on now and then you go do that until that's not the thing anymore. And then there's another, like my mentor right now is going through a lot of rediscovery. He just closed his business that he had been running, I think, for 30 years. And now he's doing real estate investing, which he had always been doing. Now he just ramped that up. And now it's like you ask him what's next. He's like, I'm figuring it out. Right? But we help you figure out what is right now today instead of this idea that, oh my God, what do I do with my life? Like, hey, let's just figure out what we do with the next 12 months. Like, let's just get there. And then life will figure out life, right? Then you come to a place where it's like, once you figure that out, okay, now I need help believing that it's possible. Because I'm never going to let anybody around me have a vision that's just possible. I could do that. Like, if you could do it in your sleep, it's not big enough. It's not going to have a strong enough impact on you, your family, or the people that you could benefit, right? Again, that's an audience thing. The people I'm looking for have that type of mindset. Going back to the comments earlier about usually older people are more inclined to be thinking about that, right? And then it's, okay, we're going to help you believe in it by removing all the bad shit that your parents and teachers and everybody else put up here. We're going to get that out. Then we're going to replace it with the stuff that it should have so that you can get on the road and start working toward it. Then it's building the accountability. It's building the discipline and the consistency you need by understanding yourself, having that strong self-awareness to know what's going to make you curious, what's going to motivate you, what's going to keep you in the game when, not if, when it gets hard. Right? So I'm going to take you on that whole journey. I'm going to take you on the whole journey. And so what I do is, because I know I have a captive audience of 18 to really 45-year-olds who are looking for that, I post a link right now in the comment section that says, go here and find out more about this program that I'm talking about. And all you got to do is click request access, click here, and you're gonna find out more. You're gonna get an email from me that's gonna explain it to you. The website's gonna explain it all to you. It's gonna explain a lot of it to you. You can't explain everything because you're talking about years worth of content development, hundreds of hours of courses, depending on which ones you choose to go through. At the very least, the core program is going to end at about, we're at 26 hours now. I believe the next session will go the next 4 hours. It'll get to about 30 hours of content, right? But knowing that I have a captive audience that's looking for that they have the problem that this coaching course solves, I post that link and then tell everyone here on YouTube. And by the way, I'm telling everyone here on YouTube, click the link and go request access, and let's at least have a conversation about whether or not this program could help you, right? And then what happens in that conversation is, if I don't think the program will help them, I tell them, don't give me a dime, bounce. Or I say, hey, do this one instead over here that's free, or whatever. There's something over here that's better for you. So that's what you have to think through. Is you have a captive audience, great. What do they like, or what problem do they have that you could provide a solution to? Whether it's a product that you create like mine, or someone else created the product and you just sell that product and you get a cut of it, right? Or service. That's how you do it. That's how you make money off that. Like this, it's like I laugh every time people start something. I can't believe my AdSense revenue is gonna go down. Like, who cares? Why are you relying on AdSense? That's insane. Google's been saying, at least since 2014, because that was the last time I read one of their financial reports, that ads are vulnerable, and they are not happy with the fact that most of their revenue comes from ads. And I tell people all the time, you're going to have the audacity to call yourself a freaking YouTuber. You should at least be reading their financial reports every year. By law, they have to make those reports public because they're a publicly traded company. You should be reading it every year if you're a YouTuber. Like, if that's the identity you identify with, you got to do it. All right. Dark Side Phil. Okay, maybe I don't know who that is. I don't know why I thought DSP was something else. Thanero says, my audience is service industry people, 18 to 29, mostly females. Okay, so find out everything you can about service industry females of that age. Do all the market research you possibly can, and develop who out of that group, who would you like to reach the most? What values do they have? Because the more you can understand about the person you're selling to, the more you can talk in their language and actually help them understand how you're going to add value to them rather. Dutch NL says #save the bees. Okay. All right. All right, now, and I'm sorry, Twitch, I've been yelling at YouTube people. This is the link that I just posted, that whole tirade that I just went on about coaching. I'll give you guys the link too. Hippie Mo says, agree, that one's pretty great. Tony J says, how do you stop second guessing or judging your emotions? You take action. I'm not even going to read the rest of that comment. Go do something. You want to stop second guessing? Take action and then see what happens. You're second guessing because you think somehow you were imbued with the powers of Jesus Christ and you can predict and control what's going to happen. Here's a news flash. Though you may have been imbued with the powers of Jesus Christ, you have not yet mastered them to the point where you can control things that are happening in the universe. So stop trying to control it and just take action and see what happens and then adjust. Period. Now I'll read the rest of your comment because I know there's some context here that probably makes doing that a little bit harder than I'm making it sound. All right. Due to my childhood, I was always a people pleaser growing up, and even though I've made huge progress and my thoughts are in the complete opposite direction, I still have a subconscious tendency to immediately lock up if I feel the need to say something and second guess myself and feel that it's never justifiable or okay to say something or rock that boat or show any sense of displeasement if someone else is making you uncomfortable or crossing your boundaries for you. So one of the things I would tell you is do it on purpose. Because one of the things that obviously I coach you, and I'll tell you, the field you want to go into, that mentality is kryptonite. You're getting ready to tell me you want to have a career where you get on stage and say things to people in the hopes that they are going to laugh and smile and react in a positive way. Let me help you. You're going to have shows where people look at you in the mouth like you're insane. And if you can't take action and feel what it feels like to feel that discomfort of their judgment, because like Seinfeld says, every comedian is judged every 7 seconds. Right? So it's the judgment that you're afraid of. What I would say is next time, just override your system. Just do it, knowing it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to hurt and it's going to make you and it's going to make you feel like, "Argh," and I don't feel like I'm justified. Just do it, and then I want you to actually feel the discomfort. Like I want you to taste it, because here's what's going to happen. And this is going to be hard, by the way. I'm not saying this is easy, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to feel that discomfort. And then you're going to realize, this discomfort's not as terrible as I imagined it would be in my mind. So, that's what I recommend to you. Do that thing that you're, like Gary Vee says it all the time, do something today that you're afraid to do. Or do something today that makes you uncomfortable. The reason why I want you to do it is because you'll get used to that feeling, and then you'll realize, oh, the feeling isn't as terrible as I imagined it would be. Because right now, everything you're experiencing is in your imagination. It's not actually happening to you. When you take the action and you realize, first of all, they probably didn't react as badly as I thought they would. And even if they did, I don't feel that bad about it. I actually feel okay. And it's just practice. You just get used to it over and over and over again. I couldn't, trying to think, when I first started playing football, I couldn't come out of a 3-point stance. I just couldn't do it. It was a mental block. And the way my dad trained me out of it was he made me come out. We were in his bathroom. My dad, my parents had a walk-in bathroom later in life. And I was on the tile floor in my dad's bathroom. And he was standing next to me by the wall where they have the cabinet where all the towels and stuff are. He's like, okay, show me the 3-point stance. Now come out of it. I was like, all right, nope. He's like, get back down. Come out of it. Get back down. Come out. He made me do that for like, I don't know how long. But then after doing it over and over and over again, I just realized it was a repetition. I just needed practice. I sucked at it because I'd never done it before. And then once I started doing it, it's like, oh, this really isn't that hard. This really isn't that hard. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Hippie Mo says, I have a question about YouTube. I want to make my gaming channel that I only have 50 subs and turn it to an animation channel. I don't want to remake an entirely new channel because my channel name has so much character, and I want that to be a part of me. I am too attached to the name, or am I too attached to the name, or will keeping the channel hurt me more than starting new? I really like the name, and I think it has a lot of uniqueness. The channel is my Twitch name, by the way. All right, so let me ask you a question. All right, so it sounds like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're afraid. It sounds like you're afraid to change the channel because you're afraid that it's like somehow going to hurt your progress. So I can tell you 50 subscribers is basically, in that context, 50 subscribers is irrelevant. Right? It's immaterial. It's not enough people to where you need to worry about the algorithm or people getting angry and leaving or any of that stuff, right? So if your fear is, oh, I'm going to shift gears and then I might lose, because trust me, I understand you fought to get to that 50. I'm not trying to minimize your success, okay? I'm just trying to help you understand the math. You fought to get to that 50, and it will personally hurt to lose some of that 50 if you switch gears. So I understand how you feel. But let me just help you. I'm going to have you answer a question. I actually want you to type an answer. Right? If tomorrow you came up with the cure for AIDS, you figured it out, and it was like a simple formula of, mixed baking soda, with like Canada Dry diet ginger ale, and then like a cup of butter pecan ice cream, right? And that was the cure for AIDS. And you somehow figured it out. You tested it. You cured all these people. If you made a video, this is the exact formula to cure AIDS. You made a video on YouTube tomorrow, and let's say you changed your channel to the guy that cured AIDS, right? Forget about the animation for a second. Do you think it would ruin anything, or you would have trouble drawing an audience? Let me know what you think about that. All right. Let's see. We got a new follower over here. X Cat of Darkness with the follow on Twitch. Much love. Suba says, LOL, do it on purpose. I like that. Great way to learn to deal. So, and I got that example from my big brother in college. I was always afraid to talk to girls because I feared I had been rejected terribly, by women between my life, my family and girls that I liked, because I told you guys a million times, this handsome guy you see on camera now, I'm a herb. I don't have a whole lot of like romantic, hey, girl, we gonna do a thing or something. Yeah. Correct person to the point where I used to scare girls like, oh my God, he just gave me a flower and asked me to be his girlfriend. What's wrong with Says we're good to go. I don't know what the challenge is. Okay, it looks like we're back on YouTube. I'm not sure if Twitch stopped screwing up. Okay. And I realized on Twitch that I had not turned my camera on this whole time. That's how we do it, friends. Oh, ghetto fabulous. What's up, Twitch? I've been yelling at the camera and no one's seen me because they're just looking at a picture of Darwin. Thanks, Tony, for not telling me that the stupid picture was up. Although you probably did say it like 20 comments ago and I missed it. But yeah, that was advice that I got from but I never took that advice, by the way. I was still a herb. I was just lucky that someone introduced me to my wife so that I didn't, God was like, this kid's not going to learn this lesson. Just send him. Please, just send her. Get her in there. Tony says, thanks, dude. Exactly what I needed to hear. Also, music stopped. Yeah, music is just ran out, so I need to restart it. Thank you for the heads up. Let's get back to... yeah, and the other thing for your comedy too, Tony, you're gonna have days on stage where that's why I posted that YouTube video, that keynote speech I gave that only 200 people watched, which was a really good talk on motivation, but it's fine. I had a joke in there that didn't go over well. Like the audience just looked at me like, wow, why did he just say that? It was a joke, and it was a joke that I had told so many other times in different settings that killed in this audience, because I was coaching a bunch of people that worked in, like state government. It was bureaucrats, right? So it was like, oh my God, he said this, she said shit. And it just the delivery wasn't funny. The setup for the joke and the premise, it just wasn't there. I bombed. And then you just keep going. You realize that bombing at that moment, it was uncomfortable for like half a second, but then it's like, I've got all this other material I have to get to. So I just got there. And then when the lady stopped, I told another joke that did make everybody laugh, but then pissed off another woman in the group because she took it very personal because, of course, the world revolves around her. And then I had to diffuse it. But in the moment, like I'm having to diffuse her, keep my audiences, because I had like probably, I want to say, this keynote was to easily close to 100 people in this room, right? In a very tight space. Like I'm walking amongst them at their tables. I'm not like up on a stage, which they had a stage, but I hate being on stage. I'd rather be on the level with the audience. Even when I was a musician, I love being in the crowd, like with the crowd, like singing and doing the stuff to face. It just feeds me, right? But what you learn in that moment is this isn't that bad. And I had two women come up to me after the talk like, dude, thank you for the way you handled her. Because your demeanor, we kind of thought maybe this guy's going to go off like, get the hell out of here. She's like, but you just handled her very empathetically and politely. I said, yeah, I mean, I don't agree with her. The joke was not intended to be taken seriously. It was just to illustrate a point, but it hurt her feelings. Because she thought the joke would, like, she was the demographic of the people I was talking about in the joke, but it didn't have anything to do with her personally. And they would just thank you for the way you handled that. And a lot of what you had to say really resonated with me. Again, I had to tell another woman who, during the Q&A, was asking me I had to tell her some stuff that was not easy for me to tell her because it wasn't what she wanted to hear. She was hoping to hear there was a speech she could give because she was working with a team where everyone was getting fired. and everyone had this like, who's next? And how do we keep people motivated? I said, the only way you keep that group motivated is, lady, you are the wrong person to be at this talk. Where is the CEO? He needs to be here, because it's his ass that needs to be out in the trenches with the people, assuring them that he's doing everything he can to help them. She's like, no, they stay in the ivory tower. I said, then there is no answer. If the CEO is too weak of a leader to come down and bleed with the people who are hurting, then that's when freaking survival of the fittest me kicks in. Just you have a leader that's just not, he's just not the best leader for the situation. And it's gonna hurt, and your people are gonna stay unmotivated. And that's not what you want to hear, but that's the absolute truth. You're not gonna go back and give some rah-rah speech and everyone's like, yay! It's, where are the leadership? We don't see them. They don't talk to us. No one's telling us anything. And I've seen too many organizations where they know bad stuff's going on, and then they're just too scared to tell they're going to leave. Then they leave, because that's probably what's best for their family. And by the way, you wouldn't have a business if they weren't here. What are we talking about? Give them enough time to leave before you just cut them. And if the business loses money, guess what? That's part of doing business. You should have been prepared for that. And if you're not, cool. You get to start another business after this one starts losing money. Or you get to lose money for 5 years before the IRS shuts you down. So you still have 5 years to turn this around. So, it's just one of these things. And even then, you can still write a letter. You can get a waiver that says the IRS won't shut you down. So anyway, that's really, you got to get used to on stage and the things you're trying to do. Rejection is coming, brother. You cannot avoid it. It's coming. No matter how much you try to control the situation, rejection is coming, and she doesn't like you. So just deal with her. Feel the feelings she makes you feel, and then get rid of them. And just remember that rejection is actually people doing you a favor. When people reject you, that lady let me know, never ever do another talk anywhere where she's at. Or where people like her, entitled ass people, are at. What those girls in high school taught me was, either I need to learn how to be more romantic and bullshit women like I see a lot of my friends do, or I just need to find a woman who can deal with me. Thankfully, by God's grace, I found the latter. Right? I found someone that liked my candor and liked that I didn't need to, I'm going to wait 3 days before I call her, because I want to shoot myself in the mouth. Not kill myself, by the way, just in the mouth. Just rather feel a bullet go through my cheek than have to play some stupid game. Let's see. Camera on. So it'd be funny to see who watches the video after the fact. They're like, he said he was going to turn the Darwin picture on. And it's fitting that Darwin is the picture that I used. And by the way, technical internet psychopath who will watch this video after the fact and correct me that the quote is not actually Darwin that said it. I know that. But the internet doesn't have a picture of the guy who actually said it. There, got that out of the way. Like, just why he said a minute and 30 seconds said he was going to turn off the Darwin picture. Why did it take him 45 minutes to do it? Because that's life. All right, let's look at some more comments. Christy McConnell says, can you recommend any training courses to get into digital marketing? 100%. That link that I just posted, one of the bonuses is my marketing course. You can absolutely go through it. There are parts of that marketing course on my website as well. But like the real meaty stuff is reserved for the folks that are in the paid program, especially the stuff about building a business around it. A good friend of mine named, if you don't want to work with me, another good friend of mine named Joe Soto has an agency course. I've been through his course. It's awesome. He brought me and a couple other guys in that have worked with him in the past. He's like, I want you guys to go through the course and, review it, tell people about it. And I've actually been to the live seminar he does, because he does it in my backyard, which is awesome. And if any of you have been in like Ty Lopez's programs before, Joe coaches there. And Joe's just a freaking awesome dude, man. I love that dude, like a brother. And, got to spend some time with him. He actually came and helped me with some stuff in my business too. We had lunch together a little over a year ago. And he was actually chastising me about, why are you doing this? You should be making $10 million right now. I'm like, I know. I didn't say anything like that. I just shut up and listen because he was showing me a lot of cool stuff. But Joe Soto's course is amazing. And it's no BS. It's like legit. My course is also amazing. Like, I don't mean to downplay mine. Um, but Joe's got some great stuff too. BTR says, yep, that's the guy, LOL. Anyways, what video would you recommend to help raise YouTube numbers on the channel? Everything I just told Christy. That marketing program, like 40% of it shows you like the guts of, like, I take a lot of what I learned getting YouTube certified back in the day, and just all the things I learned too, that some of the things I disagree with YouTube on, for example. I talk about that, and I talk about how to work around it. BTR says, relating to this, so a video for a $2K million challenge, which used my voice, and I'm wondering, was my mic skills bad? I'd be interested to see thoughts from an unbiased source to see if I don't think I understand what you're asking me. So a video for a $2K million challenge. I mean, how would I know if your mic skill? There's no way for me to know the answer to your question. I've never seen the video. Uh-oh. I have to check that text. Let's see. Tony J says, yeah, hecklers are going to be one thing I got to deal with. I've seen some videos where Louis or Jimmy Carr shoots back at them, and it's hilarious. They're masters at it, and it makes the show even better. Watch Bill Burr's Philadelphia heckler. Just, I think, because he had to be on stage, I think, for an hour, and he spends the last 20 minutes dismantling a group of hecklers. And he's like, and I know the show's tanking, I know the show's not doing well, but I'm still getting paid and I'm supposed to be on. He's actually counting out the time. Like, oh, I got 13 minutes left. Well, let me tell you another thing that sucks about your little crappy city of Philadelphia with all your brotherly love. But like, he just murders these people for like 15 to 20 minutes. He just, oh, it is glorious to watch him dismantle these hecklers. Oh man, it was amazing. All right, cool. What other questions you guys got? Because I'm gonna have to get up out of here in a second. I gotta go pick up my son. So shouts out again to A. Finley and Cat of Darkness for the follows over on Twitch. Can't recommend enough that you all follow over on Twitch, so that once we move the live streams over there exclusively, you will not be left behind. And I have no idea why my camera, I don't know if that's smudge or if the connection sucks over here on YouTube. It looks fine. It has to be YouTube because it looks fine on camera. But on YouTube it looks like crap. So it must be a streaming issue with YouTube. But yeah, bottom line, guys, you got to be adaptable to win. I didn't really get into the stories I thought I'd get into about how I've lacked adaptability. You know, one of the areas where I struggle with it is if I'm in a place that's going against my values. In the past, I would try to force that place because I think my values are right and are the right way, and I'm trying to force an organization or a group of people like, listen, we got to do this. This is the right way to do this. And they're just not hearing me. They just don't have that, you know, that value system that we talked about when we went over the Rangers Creed. And at some point, you just got to take your hands off and be like, either I'm going to adapt to their values or I have to leave. And then, you know, part of being adaptable is knowing when to quit. And I don't mean knowing when to quit on your dreams. I mean knowing when to quit an activity. Sometimes the answer is to just walk away and not keep investing your time and energy into something. Investing your time and energy into something that's not giving you that return on investment. Right? And that goes back to the comments we were talking about at the beginning with YouTube, where it's, if I'm going to put in hours and hours and hours of content, I want to make sure we're attracting the audience that's actually going to benefit from it. And by and large, what the right audience has been telling me is we'd rather listen to this on a podcast because I don't have time to leave my YouTube app up while I'm either working or building my business. I mean, I've even had people come through my courses who are already successful in business. They just wanted to take it up a notch. And they're like, I can't get through these videos, bro. I got too much work to do. And I respect it. Like, that person doesn't get darn with me. They get, yeah, I get it. I'm too busy freaking doing the work to watch all these courses. Like, I'm out here doing it. Right? That I respect, and I hope people get to the point where their success starts to take off before they get through the program. We've had guys that are like, we had one YouTuber in particular who came through my program, showed up with 400 subscribers, and then 4 months later, he's at like, I think 4 months later, he was at 25,000 or 50,000. And then within that year, he was at, I think, 60,000. He's over 100,000 now. But yeah, just in a couple of months of him applying what we were talking about, he was killing it. And then, and he was supremely talented too, right? So if anybody thinks I'm taking the credit, I'm not. But we showed him some stuff, and then he stopped coming on the calls because he's like, I'm out here winning. Like, I don't have time. That's what we hope to get everybody to. Let's see. Tony says, dude, I'm totally watching that. I noticed a lot on mindfulness. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong comment. There's something about their quick wit and how intelligently they decimate people that's admirable. It is, man. It was almost like he wrote this rant just in case he ever got heckled because it was so good. Little Raz says, in that packet I did, I noticed a lot on mindfulness of being in touch with your body. It was funny because my doctor was just telling me that. She's amazing. She was telling me how I needed to get over my body betraying me. Yeah, you were talking a little bit about that in your monthly wins video. I was really proud of all the progress that you've been making. I really appreciate your tenacity and your spirit. Hippie Mo says, how do you change your mindset of always trying to seek your peers' approval of things you like and the things that you are doing? That's another problem I have. I always feel like I need to please people or that they would disapprove of something that seems stupid. So, I mean, first of all, understand why that's true for every human being, right? You don't want to push people away because you depend on other human beings for survival. So at a very biological level, we don't like rejection. It's why so many people are terrified of public speaking, because it feels like the most potent form of rejection that a person could put themselves through, right? And it feels like dying. It feels like being excommunicated from the tribe, right? So seeking approval really comes from, I'm not comfortable in my own skin because, one, I have this biology that tells me I need other people to survive. But it's also it's once you get out of the biology, start getting into the psychology, it's a broken way. It's thinking that because I like X and they like Y, there's no way we can like each other. And that's just, I don't know if that's the transitive property. I don't really know what to call that. It's just false. Like, one of my best friends he wants me to play video games with him all the time. And I hate all the video games he likes. But it doesn't stop us from being friends. And he tries to get me to watch TV shows that I don't want to watch because they're too dark or they're too whatever. But we don't stop being friends because we don't have those similar interests. We share values, and that's what binds us together. Right? And every once in a while, we do find that game or that thing that we both like. Like, he's the person who introduced me to Idiocracy, which is now my third or fourth favorite movie of all time, even though it's as hilarious as it is terrifying to watch. So you change your mindset first by recognizing it's not just a mindset issue. It's baked into your DNA to not want to deal with rejection and accepting that. Then you can change the mindset of, well, just because we don't like the same things doesn't. And I notice a lot of people, like the internet, I've been running websites and communities on the internet for a long time, even before social media. And I notice it's like, if you say you don't like somebody's thing, they take it very personal and they get combative. And it's because biologically they feel like they're being excommunicated, especially if they see you as the leader of the tribe. It's like, well, if the leader doesn't like my thing, and they don't even realize it's not a conscious thing, it's totally subconscious, right? They're not actively like, screw this guy, he's the leader of our tribe and I'm not going to have this. Like, nobody's thinking about that consciously. It's a subconscious thing. Good question. What other questions you guys got before I get up out of here? I got to bounce. Probably will be back later tonight to stream. Oh, not one of these. We'll be doing her Near Automata. If you missed our Horizon Zero Dawn streams, you missed out indeed. We had a great time, a great and terrible time, getting all the trophies in that game. Oh, dang, I missed a rack of comments. YouTube, you freaking platform. Look at all these comments, man. Sorry, guys. You guys have been commenting this whole time, and I didn't see it. Arlene says she's taking that advice for herself. Arlene says she's getting used to the discomfort of not understanding Swiss German and looking like an idiot at work. You don't look like an idiot. Told you to get that out of your vocabulary. Now, I understand that that's how you feel. Believe me, I would feel insecure too. But you're by no means look like or behave like an idiot. Arlene says, this guy comes and says something in Swiss German that I didn't understand, and I say in German, do you want fish crab? And he's like, what? Me? What? My college laughing in tears. He wants tap water. What? Christy says, cool, thanks. Awesome. Ursula says, popped in for a minute. Hey, B. What's up, Ursula? Good to see you. BTR says, basically, the video in question could be sent and then give feedback towards the 90-second video from the channel's sake. I mean, I think, honestly, I mean, you can send it to me. If I get time to watch it, I will. But your better bet is to ask your audience. Because I'm guessing I'm probably not your target audience. So getting my opinion on it, you'd be better off, like, asking the audience, like, what do you guys think about this? Christy says, what advice would you give an ENTJ in adapting to letting a course of action go, considering we are so focused on the end goal? How do I turn it off? So realize that aside from being an ENTJ, which I'm sure kind of does play into it, you may also have obsessive tendencies. Because letting go is not just about us being goals-oriented and end-game focused. This is coming from a personal, like, psychological diagnosis. I have obsessive tendencies, right? And it's not at all related to my Myers-Briggs anything, right? It's very much when I have my teeth set and my focus set on something, this is what's got to go down. So it's realizing that you may have obsessive tendencies and then using tools like acceptance. Acceptance is like, go back and watch if you haven't been in my 69 Pillars of Success, which is also a bonus course that you get in the other course I posted. Watch the video called Acceptance is the Key to My Freedom. That will help you greatly. BTR says it's called WWE 2K19. Oh, you were saying 2K19 $1 Million Challenge. It just said 2K before. $1 Million Challenge entry DT. Question is, does the voice sound decent or should I go in another direction? That's subjective. Yeah, I don't think I would ask me. I would definitely ask your audience because, you know, for example, I prefer male singers and preferably ones that don't sing really high pitch. Doesn't mean I don't like female singers. I just prefer the male voice when I'm listening to music. So, you know, I may not be the right call. And what I'm saying is, get your target audience like to review that, because then they'll be able to give you, like, because if I give you advice and then you take my advice, what if it alienates the people you're trying to reach? Thanos says, Bryant, Near Automata worth getting? By the way, I miss your reviews. They're very detailed. They're coming back over on Twitch. Follow us over on Twitch. We're going to do a new review system called Facts and Opinions, where I go through, I'm going to do Horizon Zero Dawn probably as the first one. I'm going to say, here's everything you need to know about the game, the detailed stuff you like. And by the way, here's my opinion. Here's why I think Horizon Zero Dawn, objectively speaking, should get the praise it gets. And here's why I loved it as a story and didn't really like it that much as a game. Right? But I'll be able to give you the facts, which are, this is a very well crafted, if ridiculous, story. right? With a character that you really feel what she is going through. And she even, I mean, the designers went as far as to, she says things out loud after something happens to you. At least 4 times in the game, when she walked away from a situation, she thought something to herself out loud. She was talking to herself, the exact words that I was thinking. Right, that's the type of stuff. So they're coming back. I'm just gonna do it on Twitch because I don't want to fight the YouTube monster of people who want reviews for very different reasons than I'm willing to. Like, I'd rather 17 people watch my review and really get something out of it and us be able to exchange than 300 people kind of passively watch it and then it take my channel further down into the depths of hell because I keep doing things that YouTube doesn't want me to do. But yes, Nier Automata is the best game I've played all generation. I don't think anything will unseat it. In fact, I think it's the best game since probably... I mean, there's other really great games this generation, like Witcher 3. I'm trying to look over my shoulder. A lot of the games I love from this generation were from last generation or the generation before. Elix was another great game. But Nier Automata is easily in my top 10 list. I don't know where exactly it fits yet, but it's getting put in there. It's probably the best game I've played overall since an experience I probably had on Super Nintendo. BTR says 72% said it was decent. However, that's from a subscriber feed. Well, then there you go. That should be probably your answer. Yeah, that was what I was going to recommend is if you had access to the community tab. Ask your audience. 72% people liked it. That's a hell of a job. I'd say you're doing all right. John Bernard says, what genre, IR genres of music do you listen to? I can listen to anything as long as it's good. Kind of like Charlie Mingus. I don't like genres, just call it music. I spend the most time probably with heavy metal and hip hop. Those are my two go-tos. Heavy metal probably gets the most play because the only time I really listen to music these days is when I'm working out. So, and let me make sure Twitch didn't have a bunch of comments that I'm now missing. Since I missed all the stuff on YouTube. So, yeah, for me, but I like a little bit of everything. Because even in heavy metal and hip-hop, you've got like 20 different subgenres. It's easier for me to tell you what I don't like. Like, I don't like R&B from like the 90s on. There's very little of it that I actually enjoy. There is some, but it's funny, one of my business brothers, man, if he heard me say this, he'd probably disown me. Like, I can't believe you just let that come out of your mouth because he loves 90s R&B. And there's some country western that I like. Like, the two forms of music that I like the least are like 90s and beyond R&B pop, and then like gospel and contemporary Christian music. They just very rarely do either of those genres make something that I really like, which is tough because those are my wife's favorite genres of music. So in the car, it's like, I find it happy meeting. I'm like, hey, have you heard Marcus D's new album? It's like this jazzy hip hop. She's like, this is beautiful. I'm like, yes. One less time I got to listen to Kirk Franklin. And no disrespect to Brother Kirk. He's amazing at what he does. It's just not for me. Also, I'd sent the 72 stat before it was clarified. Though thanks for getting back. What time is the stream usually? So usually the evening streams are somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then we stream till I go to bed. And then it'll depend too, because I won't be able to stream late tonight because I got to get up. Hey, brother, welcome home. How was school?
Good.
You had a good day?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, welcome home. You've been home for a while now. I'm looking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You had a good day at school? Cool. Do me a favor. Did you bring the trash cans around back already and bring in the recycle?
It was storming, so I couldn't do it, but I'll do that now.
Yeah. Okay. You do it now? Cool, man. Appreciate you. Let's see. John Bernard says, do you listen to Tech 9? It's in the hip-hop rap realm, but it's kind of spiritual. I have listened. Like, I remember when Tech 9 came out. And people don't realize that dude is in his 50s. Like, that dude, or at least I know he's a good bit older than me. He may be in his 40s, maybe 40s. I know he's older than me because I was a kid when he came out, and I always imagined he was probably, you know, a good bit older than me. So like he's in his 40s or 50s. He's been around for a long time, and he's talented. I don't really listen to him that much, but he's done a couple things I thought were cool. BTR says, moving on, I gotta go. Thanks for the show. BTR is my honor and pleasure. Don't forget to get on the request access list to the coaching program we talked about, man. It will definitely bless you. Vanero says he's in his 40s. He's still dropping. Yeah, I mean, he's mad active. He was still doing freestyle ciphers as of a couple years ago. Raz says, LOL, relationships. All about communication and compromise. Yeah. Tony says, I'm so ridiculously picky with my music that I almost never try new music. I'm the same. I will try new music from a trusted source, but I don't really venture out. Like, let's listen to this new group. Now, I will do that on Bandcamp because it's so easy to just... Because within 10 seconds of listening to a song, I'm like, all right, I'll give 2 more songs a chance, and if they don't hit, I move on. But Bandcamp lets me cycle. Like, a lot of stuff you guys have listened to on here is me playing it through Bandcamp. John Bernard says, I'll try to catch your stream later tonight. Word. Michael Goodman says, thanks for the stream. Gotta go. Enjoy your communication style. It's very direct, which is refreshing. That is refreshing to hear because I do not always get complimented on that. Sometimes I think people would call it my Achilles heel. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming. Hippie Mo says, same. I find something I really like and just stick to it like Gorilla Glue. That's not a game. I stuck my fingers together with that before. That was fun. Andy Andrea says, love your content. Well, we love you too. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your comments. I wish my YouTube feed wasn't so choppy and weird, like I'm filming it on a camera in 2003. But that's the nature of the game. Need to make sure my phone's not going to die too. Oh, it's not going to show me anyway. All right. Last call for questions, guys, and then I got to bounce. What you got for me? Andy says, I've been watching for over a year and you always have solid info. More women need to watch. I agree. Please go get some of them and bring them here. Kerosene Light says, yo, Bryant, fellow ENTJ here. I just got the preliminary results of pre-test before finals. I failed, but am able to look for points. I'm feeling really defeated. How would you go? So help me understand, what is pre-test? What is pre-test before finals? I'm not sure what that is. So I want to give you legit advice if I'm qualified to. But what is pre-test for? Is this a college thing, or are you taking a course, or is this just like a pre-test and then you got to go take the real test? It's a test that gives you free points to a final test. Oh, they do that now in college? Dang, I would have been so much of a better student if they gave me that type of stuff. So can I share some wisdom regarding going through failure? Yeah, you're not failing. You're learning. You're learning that you don't know enough to get to where you need to go on the test. So figure out what you got wrong. You don't even have to be, it doesn't need to be emotional or spiritual or any of that. It's like legit. If you took a test and you know what you got wrong, then you know the areas where you need to study. And you're not failing. You're just learning that you don't know enough about the subject matter to get to the desired outcome, which is a better score. So figure out where your gaps are, focus on those areas, tighten up, spend 20% of the time tightening up the stuff you know really well, and then spend 80% of your time fixing the parts that you don't know well enough, and give it every hour that you can of the day to get better at it if you really want to win. See, Ursula says, on adapting, I started my biz Facebook page. The info is geared toward young kids. Some adults comment. but don't ask their kids questions. How to inspire adults to post their kids' art, socks, things they like. Well, first of all, you need to gear it to the parents of young kids. If you want someone to engage with you, they need to feel like what you're talking about is about them. So don't gear your stuff at the kids, gear it to the parent. Like if you ever go and watch an animated movie with children, there's always jokes in there that are for the parents. Always. Like I'll be laughing and my kids are like, "Why is that funny, Dad?" I'm like, "You'll learn one day." Be cool. Right? So gear the content to the people you're actually going to be selling the stuff to, which is the parents of the kids. Right? And then remember the fourth principle of economics. People respond to incentive. If people are not commenting or sharing, what could you do to give them an incentive to do that? How can you tap into the emotional part of the decision-making function in our brain, and thus people now want to share? And the best place to start is with you. What makes you want to share stuff? Because chances are the people you're attracting are going to be similar to you in some way. They'll have similar things, right? Remember, like I told you in the private coaching program last year, it was very much you in sales, you sell exactly how you buy. So keep that in mind. What makes you buy? That's probably what's going to make your audience connect with you the way you want them to. Christy says, I love your leader attitude with that advice for kerosene. That's positivity. Oh, bless you, Christy. Kerosene says, all right, thanks. I needed to hear that. See you, man. Love from Sweden. Love back at you, dude. Hey, and good luck. You got this, man. Just be willing to put in the work. Be willing to admit that you need to put in some work, but you're not failing, brother. There's no such thing. You're still in the fight. You still have the ability to get off the mat and start swinging again. Don't be afraid of the failure. Be afraid of quitting and put in the necessary work to tighten up the areas where you need to be. You got it, man. Go kill it. Christy says, from the home of Game of Thrones, Northern Ireland. Oh, love back at you, Christy. Ursula says, I have giveaways and prizes they are slowly sharing. Okay, that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. Just make sure the giveaways are something that people actually want in your target audience, which means you may need to take a step back and really look at who you're marketing to and like look up articles on Google about how to create what's called an avatar, right, for your marketing, the person that you're marketing to, so that you know everything about them and what they like and what they don't like the course that we're producing for this year before we start touring next year and coaching in person. I have an avatar. His name's Mike. He's in Afghanistan. He's an OIF and EIF combat veteran from a maneuver unit. Like he's specifically on the ground getting shot at and shooting back, right? I know all these things about him. He has a family of 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. He struggles with these things, right? These are the emotions he feels. I know everything about the person that I am going to, and I'm not selling it. This is a course that I'm making for free to help this guy named Mike build his business or his freelance career, right? And so because I know everything about Mike, when I start writing my messaging and my marketing and my ads, it'll be like I'm writing something to this guy